Sean B steps in where the cuts run deep. From a New York state of mind, she was born to see what gets lost in the dark, what they don't want to speak. Silk in her voice, but the questions hit hard. Pulling back the curtain, laying truth on the yard. Every hush-hush story, every shadow clue. She's piecing up the pain till the whole thing comes through. She don't chase noise, she follows the trail. When the headlines miss, she will still unveil. With a sharp-eyed soul and a heart that knows some stories need light so the healing can grow. On YouTube, tune in, let the realness ride. Like, share, subscribe, keep the truth alive. For the tears unseen and the cries turned low, she be lifting up the weight that the world let go. Every fact she finds got a purpose and pulse. Every case she touches makes the silence convulse. No cheap thrills, just grace and fire. Taking buried details higher and higher, where the whispers get drowned and the weak get missed. She's a soulful reminder they still exist. She can feel when the story ain't sitting right. So she walks through the dark just to bring back light. With that grown woman glow and pivotal flare, she's reaching for the truth 'cause it's waiting there. On YouTube, tune in, let the realness ride. Like, share, subscribe, keep the truth alive. That city soul, that uptown grace, and a mind that can read what time can't erase. So gather round close, let the story unfold. Some truths need a voice, some hearts need a hold, and she won't let the quiet just fade away. She's turning low, whispers into words that stay. And you tune in, let the realness ride. Let the realness ride. Revealed, and every story matters.
Good morning, y'all. Hey, lady, the hang-up queen. Smiley, she hung up on me again last night. She sure did. Good morning, Smiley. How are you, girl? How you been? How you been? She sure did, Smiley. She hung up on me again last night. I'm like, oh, God, she's so much like her niece. She has no idea. Like, my daughter would be on the phone with her friends, and when she tired of talking to them, she just hang up. Yeah, talking about see what had happened was, yeah, whatever. She did it again last night. But I'm cool on it. I'm cool. I'll be like, well, okay, okay. She was done talking. Alrighty then. mm, I am well, Smiley. I pray everyone is as well, though. I'm good. I'm good. My husband woke me up this morning complaining about the coffee maker because we have a two-in-one Keurig and the reservoir is in the back. And if it's not completely lined up, you know, the water can't um can't drip down, right? And so he's trying to fill his furnace, his thermos so that he could leave for work. And he didn't notice that the reservoir wasn't sitting correctly. So he walking around the house just talking. And everyone knows that early in the morning, the whole house is settled, everyone is still asleep. And he just, you know what I mean, just going. And he walked out the house. When he walked out the house, he slammed the door. And that pissed me off. I was already woken up out of my sleep from him rambling, you know. So then he turns around as God would have it. He forgot something and he came back in the house. And I said, what are you going off about so early in the morning? Something wrong with the coffee maker. So I get up, I go to the coffee maker. I immediately see that the reservoir is sitting lopsided. So I put it on. And then I proceeded to the bathroom, downstairs to the bathroom. And he came in there. And so he puts his thermos under there and he says, well, it's not dripping any water. And then you hear the noise that it's now starting to percolate. You know what I mean? He's like, oh. And I'm just shaking my head. I'm in the bathroom. I'm brushing my teeth, washing my face at this point because now I'm awake. And God is wonderful that way because otherwise I might have overslept and wouldn't have been on time for you guys. So it's cool. I ain't tripping. So he's talking. I'm not responding. Like, dude, go on, man. Get your coffee and go on. Just go on to work, dude. Shit. He says, what's wrong with you? What do you mean, what's wrong with me? You down here just fee-fi-fo-fumming because you didn't set up the coffee maker correctly. Like, are you serious right now? Yeah, he like, yeah, my bad. Nah. Go outside and growl, okay? Go outside and wake up the world. All right, like seriously. So yeah, that's how my morning started. Lady said they're getting a lot of rain. Yes, Molly, I love my machine. I do. My husband got it for me for Christmas. Um, my daughter told him that I had been looking at one and he got it for me. Yeah, so yep. And I love it. I like the K cups more than the coffee pot side because I don't drink coffee as often as I used to, so I like to be able to just make them by the cup so I'm not wasting, being wasteful with everything. So I was just attempting to give folks a chance to come on in here, but we're approaching the 15-minute mark and I want to get started. Smiley says you have to get a Nespresso machine. The coffee is so good. What's the difference, Smiley? I don't understand. Because I ain't got enough cabinet space for all that stuff. My pantry is not very big. Um, I would have to build a shelf to put all my dang appliances on. I've got the countertop mixer. My son got me that a few Christmases ago. I was supposed to trade mine with my daughter's because her color, the one that she has matches the decor in my kitchen, and mine at the time matched hers. But now she's moved and red won't go with it. But I love that mixer. It's so beautiful. And then I've got, of course, the microwave and all the cutlery on the countertop near the stove. And then we have the dish rack and my canisters. So I've got it's enough that I got my crock pot on top of the refrigerator. Girl. All right. So it's after the 15-minute mark. Let's get into this court case. Now, I don't know if everyone saw yesterday, but while I was just surfing the tube yesterday, I found this case. And this case is featuring a young Black woman who is a high school teacher. And, okay, hold on. Smiley says the hazelnut coffee actually tastes like hazelnut. Also, they has specialty flavors. It doesn't taste like artificial flavors. I don't like hazelnut. Um, I like for my coffee to just taste like coffee, but I do use French vanilla creamer because I don't use sugar because the creamer is sweet enough, actually. But I don't like hazelnut. But I'm glad you enjoy yours, baby. But if I get another dang appliance, I'm going to have to build a longer countertop. But thank you, boo. Thank you. I think if I had an office, then I would probably get, one of those singular Keurig coffee situations. But I'm good. I'm good. But thank you, boo. Enjoy yours. So as I was saying, this teacher, young Black woman, is being accused of causing the death by child abuse of a 2-year-old toddler. And this case is currently going on. And Smiley said, I read up on the cases after you put the choices. Yes, up there. And the football player, Blaze Taylor, his case has already been disposed. He's already found guilty. And he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. I do still want to watch that because there are things with his past that I think are very relevant with what we're going through these days. You know what I mean? The maniacal nature of some people. Literally how they can smile in your face and are praying for your demise the whole time. So I am still interested in what happened, even though I know he's been convicted. But this case is still currently going on, and it involves a baby, and you know how Sean B feel about babies. So I wanted us to watch this one. So we're gonna kick right in at the opening statements. Lady says yes, I had to on this one. Okay. Yeah. And I was keeping abreast all day of who was voting for which one. And again, I let you guys know that the unanimous numbers would be the determining factor. So, but we can still cover it. The other one, I just wanted to jump on. I'm glad that number 2 was the choice because I did want to jump on this. So we're gonna get right into it. Y'all see my cover picture, bad teacher, bad teacher. So let's get right to this.
November 17th, 2020. Day that was supposed to be a normal day at Primary Pediatrics on Lakeview Road. A day full of children with runny noses, getting their shots, and hopefully a sticker or a sucker on the way out. It was anything but an ordinary day. That morning, Carter Ambrose, 2 years old, was rushed in a diaper and a wet t-shirt with a pulse that was rapidly disappearing. He was cold to the touch. The bottoms of his feet were white. His eyes were rolled back in his head. Primary Pediatrics did what they could, but they're a pediatrician's office. They're not an emergency room. They're not EMS. They performed CPR, life-saving measures for that little toddler until an EMS got there. EMS took him to Peach County Atrium, where he was pronounced dead. And Carter had issues breathing. He was on medicine. There was a breathing treatment sometimes that he needed. And at first glance, this looked like a child that had succumbed to this breathing issue until the autopsy was performed. The cause of death in this case is blunt force injury to the abdomen, causing a lacerated liver. This is a homicide. No doubt about it. And that weekend, Carter was with his mom, the defendant. And his biological father, Kadeem, who will testify, they're not together anymore. So mom, the defendant, picked up Carter Friday from daycare. He wasn't injured. He seemed okay. Maybe that evening he said, my tummy hurts. My tummy hurts. But other than that, there was nothing going on. The daycare people are going to come and want to testify that Carter was fine. There were no injuries to him. And then the next day, Saturday, Carter and the defendant went to the defendant's grandfather's house. And again, he was fine, happy, playing. Typical 2-year-old boy. Then the defendant had Carter by herself until Sunday evening when her new boyfriend, KIANNA, arrived. You were going to hear that from that Sunday evening until the day that Carter died, he was having stomach pain. He was throwing up. It wasn't until he went lifeless that anybody did anything to get that little boy any help at all. It would have helped to have called Carter's father, who's a firefighter and works in EMS. But the defendant wouldn't let him speak to his child over the phone, wouldn't let him see him via FaceTime, nothing. It is only when Carter is at Primary Pediatrics and is on death's door that she finally tells Kadeem, get here. Carter's not doing well. According to the medical examiner, whom you will hear from, we have multiple blunt force injuries. And when we say multiple, Don't mean 2 or 3. He had quite a few to his abdomen. He also had injuries to his genitalia, an injury to his head. He had a massive laceration to his liver, as well as an injury to his pancreas. Evidence of repeated blows to this child. You're also going to hear, you're going to hear from 2 people. One who's retired medical examiner, and the other was the former chief medical examiner at the time. And that is the time of death. Excuse me, that is the time at which the injuries could be inflicted, or were inflicted, I should say. 1 to 3 days prior to the death of the child. You're going to hear from them. And that time frame is the time frame that this defendant, Keon Benton, had sole access and sole control over this child. Now, one thing you're going to notice, because I've said Keon Benton, he's not sitting over there. It's Keon by himself. His charges are still pending. There's no deals with him. All right, they're just separated for the time being. That's it. During this trial, you will have the urge, I suspect, to try to pick who did it. Which one beat him? Did they both beat him? Sorry to tell you that I do not have the answer to every question that you are going to have in this trial. But the testimony that you are going to hear is that the beating or beatings that this child sustained only when the defendant and the boyfriend or the boyfriend had custody. Sole access to this child. They are parties to each other's crimes. The case is entirely circumstantial. There's no video recording, there's no confession, there's no DNA evidence. But you are going to hear from a number of witnesses. You're also going to observe, see, watch, hear that this defendant had multiple interactions with law enforcement. She had a conversation with law enforcement.
Hey, Buttercup.
The apartment pursuant to her consent. But there were 3 other statements that she gave to police. And not one time did she point the finger at Keon. A mother of a child who's been beaten and died of a lacerated liver. She doesn't want to do that. But she talks to people. She comes up with all sorts of stuff. Jumped off the bed or the couch. You're going to hear why that's not how this injury occurred. Had diabetes. Or you're not going to hear much of a reason at all. CPR did it. Handlebars of a bike did it. You could think of a number of issues, but you'll hear GBI experts tell you why this is a homicide and not an accident, not the result of some medical condition. The defendant is absolutely guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of murdering her child. But what is reasonable doubt? Now we're going to come back at the end of this. The judge is actually going to read you a bunch of law. She's going to define reasonable doubt. Right? There's a doubt for which a reason can be given. Right? In the mind of an honest juror seeking the truth. You're going to have a lot of pieces, circumstantial pieces. The biggest of which is these injuries occurred in only this defendant.
Good morning, Nisi Poo. Good morning.
She killed her child. I'm going to prove it to you. The evidence is going to bear it out. Thank you.
Mr. Cruz, is that received?
Yes, please, the court. Mr. Dwayne, Ms. Holland, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, good afternoon. As has been indicated, we thank you for being here. I think it goes without saying that we are here for some, this is a very, very serious matter. Ms. Davis is here proclaiming her innocence in this matter. As has been read to you, this offense allegedly occurred between the 15th of November of 2020, November the 17th of 2020. Here we are, July the 13th of 2026, more than 5.5 years later. Now, as part of our opening remarks, we are to tell you what we expect the evidence to show. And also, it's my responsibility as the attorney for Ms. Davis to point out to you certain things that are important. One thing that lawyers like me are always, and prosecutors also, are always concerned with are timelines. When did certain things happen and at what time? Okay? And it's important for you to keep it into consideration whenever you're listening to the evidence in this case and deciding this case. You will, at the end of the case, you will have a copy of the indictment that reflects all these charges that have been mentioned to you. This indictment was returned by the Houston County Grand Jury on October, or it was returned and filed in the clerk's office, October the 18th of 2023, almost 3 years later. So the first thing that comes to mind is, why wait 3 years? Okay? And you'll see that the evidence will reflect in this case that this child died on November the 17th of 2020. Okay? That there was an autopsy done on this child soon thereafter by the GBI. But one thing that you'll see is that the autopsy results were not released for almost a year. And you have to wonder why. And maybe the state can clear that up. I don't know. We'll see. You will see that like I say, the autopsy report where the pathologist stated that this was a homicide, but based on a lacerated lip, like I say, was released, was signed off by the coroner, was signed off by the pathologist with the GBI, then signed off by the coroner almost a year later. Okay? So that puts us in 2021, a year later. Okay? And once again, this case was not indicted for 2 more years after then. Why? Those are things that you can take into consideration whenever you're studying this case and listening to the evidence in this case. And we'll hear witnesses in this case. And one thing that I'm certain that Judge Adams brought to your attention today, and at some point in time, Judge Lumsden will, at the conclusion of this case, is that the burden of proof is always on the government to prove each one of these charges against Ms. Davis beyond a reasonable doubt. In other words, they have to prove each and every essential element of each crime charged beyond a reasonable doubt. Ms. Davis has absolutely no burden in this case. In other words, she can sit there and say nothing, and you can't hold that against her. She may or may not testify. We don't know yet. We don't know what the state's going to put up yet. But at the appropriate time, the judge will instruct you that if she should decide to remain silent, you cannot infer or insinuate or hold that against her in any way. A lot of people say, well, she needs to explain to us what happened. No, she doesn't. She doesn't have to. It's not her burden. She doesn't have to prove to you that her only child died because he fell off a bed or bumped into a table or on the handlebars of his little bicycle, that they're going to show you a picture of him on his bicycle. Or that it was done somewhere else, or who it was done by. You know, you can take into consideration the fact that she is jointly indicted with her then boyfriend, Keon DeVoy Benton. It's my understanding Mr. Benton is going to come in the courtroom and testify. He doesn't have to testify. Now, you know, I mean, the state can give him some sort of immunity, but we'll see where that travels. That the boyfriend is not sitting there with us, but he's going to come in and testify against her. We'll see. Now, like I say, you need to take your evidence from the witness stand. This case, and understand, in my years of coming down here trying cases, and I've tried a lot of murder cases before good jurors, where the charge of malice murder, and it'll be explained to you later by the judge, malice aforethought, something akin to premeditation or something akin to planning. In other words, someone had malice in their heart. You've heard the term an abandoned and malignant heart. You've heard that before. That's why a murder happened. And in the alternative, the state sometimes will say, well, we think it's a felony murder based on another offense, a predicate offense, if you would, that as a result of that predicate offense results in the death of someone. And the felony murder, the first is cruelty to children in the first degree. And the indictment, of course, says that the baby died, was beaten with an object, the nature of which was unknown to the grand jury. In other words, they don't know how the child died. By what means? It was by a bowling ball or a baseball bat or whatever. Okay, that's for them to prove, and for them to bring their pathologists in here to prove to you. Now, some of you have medical experience, but they have to bring in, the state has to bring in evidence to show some sort of blunt force trauma, if you would. You know, there's also the felony murder charge of aggravated assault, and they don't know how, but they're saying that the injuries to the child resulted as a result of an aggravated assault or a weapon of some sort. You know, they have to prove that. But the difference in this case, I submit to you, in my experience in handling criminal cases, is murder in the second degree. That's different from what you generally hear in cases. That's generally different from, if you've been on grand juries in this county or any other county, you don't get too many murders in the second degree where they're saying that the child died irrespective of malice as a result of some sort of failure or neglect to seek medical attention for the child. And it gets a little complicated here, okay? Now, like I say, I don't know if Ms. Davis is going to testify or not, but you will see that the time that this happened, that she was, she's now 35 years old, she was a school teacher at the time. Teaching classes through the Central Georgia Technical College, and where she was teaching classes in conjunction with the Houston County School District, as well as she'd go to Jones County, and that's, she was teaching on the days that this child, there will be testimony about his stomach hurting. You'll hear that, okay? You will also hear that this child, he was 2 years and 10 months, Carter was, and that he wasn't even a week old and he was already having problems with breathing and asthma and things of that nature. And you will hear, we expect that you'll hear from the people that were treating him at this pediatric place that they treated him, that he was hospitalized, that he's always been a sickly child of some sort, as children are prone to do sometimes. And that at the time that, and of course the father of this child is this Kadeem Ambrose, and you'll hear from him. And he lived with Miss Davis during that period of time, and they talk about how we expect his testimony will be, assuming he's going to be here. But anyway, we expect them to be that they lived together and then their relationship busted up, okay? But during their relationship, the decision was made by Miss Davis to move. She moved to this apartment complex off of Lakeview Road, which is not even 3 football fields away from this pediatric place, so she could be near her doctors. And there'll be a bunch of people that will come testify, I guess, from the pediatric place that Miss Davis was there often with her child, okay? And of course, the state would have you believe that should mean nothing, that she moved where she was living at to be within 300 yards of where the doctor's office was at in case there were problems. Because once again, the child, within the week after that child was born, was already in the hospital and exhibited sickly behavior or sickly symptoms throughout his young life. Once again, the responsibilities on the state to prove their charges against all these charges, all 7 counts, beyond a reasonable doubt. You'll hear the evidence, and I ask you, and I thank you for being here. Because like I say, like this happened 5.5 years ago, Miss Davis has been patiently waiting to be sitting in that chair in front of a jury of 12 people plus 2 alternates to show you, to exhibit to you that she is not guilty of any of these charges. I with you am patiently waiting to hear what the witnesses are going to say for the state. As Mr. Doing has mentioned to you, this is not a case of, there's two types of evidence. There's direct evidence and circumstantial evidence. And Mr. Dwayne has said in his opening remark that there's not any direct testimony, or there's not going to be any direct evidence that this lady or anyone struck the blows that ended up killing the child. Okay, it's circumstantial evidence. Okay, in other words, the circumstantial evidence that the state is proposing is that, and of course, the doctors are going to come in here, or the medical people are going to say, well, based on their experience, injuries of this type have to result, or can result, anywhere from 24 to 72 hours before someone dies. Not necessarily. Okay? And once again, it's not for Ms. Davis to have to come in here and point the finger at anybody. Okay? They're trying to prove that she committed these offenses. I submit to you that she did not. And, once again, I don't know how adamant I can be to explain to you her innocence. I don't know how adamant she can be to explain her innocence. This is a long day coming from her, or for her. And, I'll be able to ask questions of witnesses for the state. And, once again, as I mentioned before, if there's anything that I do that upsets you or hold it against me, she has lost her only child. Her only child. Almost 6 years ago. She's not guilty of any of these charges, folks. Not guilty. Thank you. You're on.
All right, Mr. Dwayne, if you will call your first witness, please.
State calls Taylor Sledge.
All right. Let me have Taylor Sledge. Mr. Davis, will you get the witness, please?
I just wanted to pause for a second to say good morning to us that have come in since we started. Good morning, Buttercup. Hey, Nay, Nisi Poo. What's going on, Big Drip Drip Drop? Hey, Sonia. Good morning, Tracy. Thank you for joining us. Y'all, I have to admit, I'm a little stunned that this was her child. See, I'm watching this with y'all. I did not know that this was her child. I didn't. And, I'm kind of perturbed at the heading for Court TV saying high school teacher. I thought somehow, some way, this had something to do with her as a teacher, like in a teacher's capacity. How with a 2-year-old toddler, I don't know, but that was part of my question. A high school teacher and a toddler. That's why I didn't think that this was her kid. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, but this was her baby. So, that gives it a little more weight. Now, which side you're leaning on, I don't know. But all I'm saying is, it's a whole lot of this going on these days, man. A whole lot. These people doing this to their babies, man. Lady says, yes, I saw that this morning. She read it. Buttercup says she understands me. Thank you, boo. Smiley says, yeah, I was shocked to learn it was her child. I had to read several articles to learn it was her child. Exactly. Heartbroken, Buttercup. Like, what's wrong with these? Now, I don't know if she did it. You know what I mean? We haven't heard enough yet. But for these people that we do know have done it, what's wrong with these motherfuckers, man? These are your babies, your flesh and blood. So I just had to get that out because I was about to bust. I really was. But we can carry on. And guys, anytime y'all want me to pause and y'all want to talk about something, just put like a hand up in the comments or the word pause or I've got a question, something like that, because I'm sitting right here. I'm sitting right here watching it with you guys. Buttercup says everyone don't deserve to be parents. That's a fact, Buttercup. That is a fact. They do not. They do not. Goes the same. Just because you can don't mean you should. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. So, like I said, anytime you guys want me to stop, okay, Nate says, I got a question. Okay, what's up, boo? I'm listening. You got a question, one of us got an answer. What is it, baby? Well, this must be a long one. Come on, boo. Nay, where you at, darling? Come on, Stink. What happened to your question, boo? Nay? Okay. I've been looking it up, but can't seem to find the story in general. Auntie, can you give me a 30-second synopsis of what happened? Okay, 30 seconds. This chick is saying that the baby had just been declined. The baby's health was declining day after day. His condition just seemed to get worse and worse. He first started to act a little out of sorts, and then he started complaining that his tummy hurt. And she just didn't know what was going on. Her boyfriend was in the midst of it. She wasn't with the baby father anymore. And the baby father would call and, ask about his son, and she would just, give him wordplay. And he was asking, apparently, let prosecutions tell it. He had been asking to speak to his son, and she would make up excuses, don't know. But then she wound up having to rush the baby to the hospital, and that is when she contacted his father and told his father, get here, something is going on. Something is wrong with Carter. He is 2 years and 10 months old. She used to be a high school teacher. Like I said, her and the baby's father used to live together. When they broke up, she moved, and now we're here. Hey, Nicole. Good morning, love. Nicole says she's listening and working. I understand, boo. So does that answer your question, Nay? Does that give you a little background? You good? Give me a thumbs up if you good. I'm going to continue.
raise your hand. You swear affirm testimony you shall give here before this court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
You would state your name for the record, please,
Taylor Sledge Ragsdale.
and if you don't mind, would you spell your name?
Taylor.
Yes, Nate, it is. It's very sad, love. It's very sad. And I'm sick of them too.
Sledge, if you would, tell us what you do.
Right now I work as a paraprofessional at Monroe High School.
Have you always done that?
Before that, I worked at primary pediatrics
When did you work at primary care?
from August 2020 until last summer.
That's a good question, Nate. I don't know if she's out on bail, going to trial. I don't know. Like I said, I'm catching this with y'all. I like to be as, surprised and everything as y'all are. So I don't know. If someone does see that, Smiley said she read up on it, y'all let us know.
Me and bringing a small child into the office on 17th.
Yes, I did.
Hey, tell me what you recall about that.
I remember him bringing him into the office. It was a black African-American male. The little boy was limp in his arms. And he just said he needed some help.
Okay. Lady says no. At home on house arrest. Okay. There you go. Nay, she is on house arrest.
And what did you do when you saw this?
Called back to the back to get some help and then called 911.
And this is a pediatrics facility. Why would you call 911?
To get help because the child wasn't breathing and wasn't responsive.
So to get more emergent help? Now, when this male came in, did he say anything to you?
He just said that he needed help.
What was his demeanor like? Was he rushed?
He seemed wasn't really concerned. He just was, he brawled. I mean, you could tell that the little boy needed help, but he didn't show any emotion.
And would you happen to remember what he was wearing?
A white tank top or a white shirt and khaki shorts, I believe.
So you saw this man bringing it essentially wipe was showered in and then called 911.
Yes.
And Ms. Sledge, I want you to think back about anything that this man said to you. Did he tell you who he was, anything like that? Did he say anything about y'all calling, anything like that?
He said he was fighting him on the ride to the office.
But nothing about him saying falling on the couch?
Judge, that's a leading question.
Objections overruled. Nothing about him falling off the couch or falling out the floor. Nothing further at this time.
Mr. Griggs, chief of chief.
Just a couple questions, John. Good morning, ma'am, or afternoon. Tell me your last name again.
Ragsdale?
Ragsdale? And you were a Sledge at the time, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That you went to work at this primary pediatrics August of 2020?
Yes, sir.
So you worked as a receptionist at that place from August until when?
As a receptionist, I was a receptionist about 4 months, and then I moved to the back as a tech.
That as a,
Tech,
what does a tech do?
to pull them back at their weight, height, and get them prepared for the doctor.
Oh, okay. But on November the 17th, and is that when it was, November the 17th, 2020,
Yes, sir.
had you had any medical training?
To know whenever someone comes in and needs help, yes.
Okay, I mean, what training, where did you get your training
At primary pediatrics.
I mean, you didn't get it from school or from a technical college or anything like that?
No, sir.
So you worked as a receptionist, and I guess by being a receptionist, you acquired knowledge to be able to question people when they came in the front door.
Yes, sir.
All right. And I take it that on this particular day, you don't remember what time of the day it was?
We opened at 8:30, like 8:40-ish.
All right. And this fellow, was his name Kadeem Ambrose that brought this child in?
No.
Who was the man's name? Keon Benton?
Yes.
Is that his name? Okay. And he brought the child in about 8:40 that morning?
Yes.
Is that right? Did he identify who the child was?
No.
Okay. And as a receptionist, you didn't know what to do. You just called for help. Is that right? And really, that's all you did.
Yes, sir.
In other words, did someone else in the office ask you to call 911?
No, I didn't call 911.
Oh, okay. How did you know that?
I'm a mom. I would call
Pardon?
I'm a mom, so I just instinct to call 911 when you see
Okay, and how
something.
many people were working in the doctor's office that day?
20, 25 people.
Okay, and so you immediately called 911 and then was it Dr. Waters who came up first?
No, it was Dr. Ford.
Dr. Ford?
Yes.
Okay, and did you help administer any tests to the child?
No, I did not.
You just stepped back and called 911?
I stayed at the front and called 911.
Okay. And that's the only connection that you've had with this case?
Yes, sir.
Right. Do you know Miss Davis?
No, sir.
Have you ever seen her before?
No, sir.
So this all happened, I thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Witness?
No, she makes.
Correct, you may be excused. You're free to go or stay as you wish.
Thank you.
Emily Baker.
I have a question for y'all. How do y'all feel about this witness saying that the gentleman who brought the baby in showed no concern? How do y'all feel about that? My feelings on that is you don't know me. You don't know me. You've never seen me before, lady. So how can you say whether or not I'm concerned? I think he should have dug into that a little bit deeper. The defense attorney. He should have stated, did you know the gentleman who brought that child in? Have you seen him excited, happy, sad, angry, concerned? How do you know how he demonstrates that? You know what I'm saying, Sonia, lady? You feel me? Like you don't even know this man. You know what I mean? There are a lot of women that don't cry. There are a lot of women that do. My husband is a crybaby. My husband's a crybaby. My granddaughter my grandkids were over the other night. They had been to Darien Lake, Six Flags over Darien Lake and all that kind of stuff. So out in the heat, playing in the water, all that. So my granddaughter, who is only a few months old, she was born in February, she was tired by the time the sun went down. And they were dropping Doobie off, and I was playing with her, and we had some toys in the closet put up for her to reach that age, age appropriate for her, and she was at it. So I'm putting the toy together. We done did it. We done put her down, played with it. All this excitement. Now my granddaughter tired, and she crying. And she's crying and crying. And at the time, my husband had her, and he brought our granddaughter to my son-in-law, and you could see the look on my husband's face. He was about to cry. My husband would cry when Doobie was much younger and I was combing his hair, and he grew into not being tender-headed, but at first he was. And so he would try to cry to get out of it. And my husband would come to where we are crying, saying, please give him a break. And I'm like, dude, you're crying. Like, so some women don't cry and some men do. So, you know what I mean? I feel like he should have said something about that. Sonia said people deal with things extremely different. Smiley says, right, I agree. People react differently to situations. You can't just assume because he's not hysterical that he's not concerned. Exactly. Exactly. So I just wanted to point that out. Exactly. Lady agrees. All right.
Can you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Not that one, Miss Baker, that's the extra one. That one in front.
Nicole said, hey, it's okay. I will cry at the drop of a dime too. Me too. I'm gonna cry, baby. Yes, I am. I sure am. Sonia said also, white people perceive us differently because we don't act like them. You better say that, Sonia. You better say it.
Full-time, I work at Primary Pediatrics on Mondays.
How long have you worked with primary pediatrics?
Before I joined the military, I was there 7 years.
7 years. Okay, so did you work there in 2020?
Yes, sir.
November of 2020?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Do you recall on November 17th of 2020? Does that date stick out to you at all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why?
That is the day that Carter Ambrose came in and we had a problem.
Okay, so what were you doing?
It was the beginning of the morning, so we didn't really start working yet, and it was still kind of at the end of COVID. And then we had a call from the front stating that there was a guy with a lifeless child. So we went out there, me and one of the nurses. So we went out, told him to come back, we put him in a room, went in there, asked the guy, we had to assess what was going on, and then realized that he needed attention fast.
So let me back up. You said that you were in the back.
Yes, so
What were your duties?
So I'm a medical tech.
Okay.
So I usually work with the patients, find out what's going on, get vitals on them,
Okay.
and then put it in the system and let the doctors know what's going on.
Okay. So you're at work this Tuesday morning,
Yes,
just like it's an ordinary day, right? Okay. And then you said a man came with a child?
yes,
Okay. Did you know who that man was?
no, sir.
Okay. Who was the child?
It was Carter Ambrose.
Okay. Did the man know who the child was?
Yes.
Did he provide any of his information?
Any other
Carter's.
Carter's information?
Correct.
He provided, the basic information that he knew.
Okay.
We found out that he was a boyfriend of the mom.
Okay. All right, but you didn't really know at that time.
Right.
All that. Okay. So where did you first see Carter?
In the waiting room, like when, our doors are right here, but like if you're facing the parking lot, our door's to the left, so that's the fourth hall. So, and when they come in, like he was in the lobby, so he was holding Carter in his arms, and so we directed him to a room.
Okay. Was it redirected into a room?
Me and Casey,
Okay.
the nurse.
Casey, what's Casey's last name? Do you recall her last name?
Hold on, I went right.
Is it Copper?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
So you ushered Carter to a room?
right, correct.
Okay. And how many people went to that room?
So me, Casey, Dr. Robert Ford was in there. There was a nurse practitioner, like about 2 nurse practitioners, and another nurse that I recall.
And what was the atmosphere like with everybody in there? What was going on?
Everybody was just working together. I know someone, they were going to get IV so they could start an IV. Dr. Robert Ford was on the table. Well, he was listening to him, and then he could tell like there were
barely any heartbeat. So he got on the table, started doing compressions. So it was kind of like calm chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would come out, call 911, and they asked for address, phone number, all the basic information, and we were just relaying it back and forth.
So what, I think, did you say Dr. Ford?
Dr. Robert Ford.
Robert Ford, okay. You said, I think, compressions, is that right?
It was CPR.
CPR.
They did the shot machine on it. So they-
EKG.
Yeah.
Okay. When you first saw the child, what did he look like?
He was limp, lifeless. The bottom of his feet were like white. There was no color to him, and his eyes were rolled in the back of his head.
And the man who brought him in, did he say anything about the child's situation?
Once we got in the room, he did.
What did he say?
He stated that the night before, that he was vomiting. And then he said he gave him a breathing treatment. And he said that, I'm not sure if it was before or after the breathing treatment, that he was bent down on his hand, kind of, I'm assuming like a seizure, he was having a seizure. And then he said, before he brought him in, he said that he had a bowel.
Had a bowel movement. Did he say if the child was throwing up or anything like that?
Yes, that was later or during the night.
Okay. And so you called 911. So did EMS show up? Now, I know it was a long time ago, but do you recall roughly how long the child was there at primary pediatrics receiving care before EMS came?
I would say at least 20 minutes
Okay.
before they arrived.
Nothing further this time around.
Mr. Drew?
Thank you. Your last name is Baker, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Baker, my name is Jeff Drew. I'm a lawyer from Warner Robins, here representing Ms. Davis. Have you ever met Ms. Davis?
I might have seen her passing at the doctor's office, but
You might have seen her where?
possibly at the doctor's office, but not personally. No.
Okay, and you were there at this pediatric place.
Okay, let me see. Nay says everybody shows emotions differently, especially men. So I don't think it's right for them to determine somebody's mood. Lady says, no, Nay says, I have to tell my fiance to cry, scream, let it out, because he grieves so differently than me. But I don't determine how he feels about something, nor force him to grieve cope how I expect him to. Just saying. Smiley says, right, Nate, people grieve in their own way. Also express concerns in their own way. Absolutely, y'all. Like, seriously. They do it in their own way and in their own time. So a lot of people feel like, well, there's no reason to be overexcited until there's reason to be overexcited. You know what I mean? There's no reason to panic until there's reason to panic. That's how a lot of people feel. Like they reserve that shit until they deem it appropriate. Some people start crying the fuck immediately, like, oh fucking God. You know what I mean? Type of thing. Forgive me, big dog. You know I ain't disrespecting you. I'm just saying. That's how a lot of people are. And yes, y'all, I call God big dog. That's my big dog. He know I love him. He know he's the head of my life, and that's how we talk. Okay. Sonia says, although, just like we are saying this, the jury will have this discussion. I hope, right? I hope. Now continue.
For say 7 years?
Yes, sir.
From when until when?
I started in January of 2013 or 14. And then I was there for 7 years. And then I went to the military, and I recently came back to work. I just work on Mondays.
Oh, you work at this same place on Mondays?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Now, after this event occurred, did someone from one of the doctors from the business there ask you to write up a statement?
Yes, sir. I believe everyone that was there that day wrote a statement, and we sent it.
And you wrote up a statement, did you not?
Yes, sir.
When you met with the district attorney's office recently, you had a chance to go back over this statement, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And that, do you recall, in writing the statement that the child was taken, when there was evidence that the child was in a state of distress, that the child was taken to room number 4, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And the child was taken there by this male that brought the child in.
Yes, sir.
In other words, how was he transported?
He was holding him in his arms.
Okay.
So Carter was laying in his arms.
Okay.
And then,
At any time, did you ever hold the child?
no, sir.
At any time, did you ever touch the child?
Probably possibly to get a heart rate, but just the usual vitals.
All right. You had mentioned something earlier about, you say the man said something about the child had a seizure. Is that right?
I'm not saying he said he had a seizure. I'm saying the details that he provided, it sounded to me like it could have been a possible seizure. I'm not saying that the child did.
Okay, but you never mentioned that in whatever you wrote.
Like, I just said that the child was biting down on him.
Okay, but nothing about a
No, sir.
seizure.
No, sir.
I mean, there's a difference, is there not, between a child biting down on something and having a seizure. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to trick you, I'm just trying to
Yes, sir.
see what happened. And Dr. Robert Ford was working with the child, is that right?
Yes, sir.
I guess nurse practitioner Gaddy was there helping Dr. Ford, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Recall?
Yes, sir.
Was Ashley Howard a nurse practitioner?
She's the nurse.
A nurse, registered nurse?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know who the other nurse practitioner was?
I believe it was Amy Wood.
All right, would, okay. And that, did you yourself call 911, or did you instruct Taylor Sledge to call 911?
I myself called 911.
You did, okay. And do you know who you talked to with 911?
I don't remember. No, sir.
And you called 911, they put you through to the 911 center that's called Corwitz Parkway, or do you know?
I don't know.
I take it at some point in time, then someone, EMS came out, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And do you know where they were from?
No, sir. I don't.
Did you go outside whenever EMS came?
No, sir.
You just stayed in the building, is that
Yes, sir.
right? Did you have, after you called 911, did you really have any other involvement in this matter?
No, sir.
I mean, you weren't asked to do any work that required a technician, is that right?
And at that point, no, sir.
And once again, from the time that this man brought the child in until EMS got there was probably about 20 minutes, is that right?
That sounds.
Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
Judge, I have nothing else to say, Ms. Baker.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. You may step down, you're free to go and stay as you wish. Call your next witness, please.
Judge, the state called Amanda Gaddy.
Gaddy this way, please.
Truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
And then Danielle Gaddy.
If you don't mind spelling your name too.
Whole name? Yes. AMANDADANIELLEGATTIE.
Thank you, Ms. Gaddy. And you're a little bit soft-spoken, so if you could speak into that one doesn't work.
No. Good luck. Davis, move that please, so that we can view the post. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Gaddy, if you would tell us what you do.
I'm a pediatric nurse practitioner at Primary Pediatrics,
And how long have you worked in primary pediatrics?
10 years.
And you are a nurse practitioner. Tell me what degrees you have.
All of them. I have several, sorry. So my first degree is health information technology, and I turned finally a nurse practitioner.
Now, you would have been a nurse practitioner at Primary Pediatrics back in 2020, is that right? I'm going to turn your attention back to November of 2020. Do you recall on November 17th, a child being brought in? And if you would, tell us what you remember.
On that morning, I was sitting in the office, which was on the back hallway of our office, and around 8:45-ish, I and another nurse practitioner heard a nurse hollering for help. So
When you heard another nurse yell for help, what did you do about it?
So I left my office and walked to the hallway where she was calling for help from.
And what did you see?
I walked into the room, it was exam room 4 that they had put the baby in. I walked in there and the nurse, Casey, Casey was in there assessing the baby, and Amy Wood, who's the other practitioner that was with me, she walked on in there, and Casey said he's unresponsive, we get the doctor. So I then left the exam room and went to the doctor's offices and asked Dr. Ford's, Jesse and Robert to come into the exam room door.
So you ran and got more help.
That's right.
Now, what did you notice about the toddler? You said he was laying lifeless.
Yes, on the exam table, t-shirt and diaper.
And you described him as lifeless, so unresponsive.
That's right.
And after you went to get more help, what happened at that point?
At that point, I started talking with the guy that brought the baby in, and trying to get information, birthday, last name, what happened, kind of give us a history while they were working on Carter.
And did he give you any information about himself, who he was, name?
No name, no, he said I'm stepfather.
So he referred to himself as stepfather?
That's right.
And was he able to give you basic information about the child?
No last name, no date of birth. He just, said I'm mom's boyfriend. As he told me what happened through the night, he knew that he had breathing problems, but that was the only information I could get from him during that time.
So you sort of took on a comfort role for him?
Mhm.
Okay, and what is going on while you're talking to him?
They're resuscitating Carter.
So they're trying to perform life-saving measures?
That's correct.
While they're trying to perform life-saving measures, the other medical personnel in the office, did the man that you were talking to tell you anything else?
Yeah, he had told me that Carter had been vomiting all night, and that when he went to get him up that morning, that he was in a large amount of vomit and stool. And he knew that he had breathing issues, so he put him on the breathing machine. And as he had Carter on the breathing machine, Carter kept passing out. So he stopped and just brought him into our office because we were close. But on the way, he said, Carter bit me, or he was biting me.
Now, was he in the room, was he on phone with anybody?
He was on FaceTime with Mom.
How were you able to determine who he was on the phone with?
He stated that.
And did you at that point know who mom was?
I had seen her in office previously with Carter. No.
But you had physically seen her with Carter before?
I have.
And while everybody else in the room is working on Carter, did he say anything else?
Yeah, he kept questioning, is Carter okay? Is he breathing? He was talking to mom on the phone and he would say, I can't see, there's too many people in here. I just need you to hurry up and get here. And then he would ask again, he asked several times, was he breathing? And then he would rely that to mom on the phone and just say, I can't tell, again, there's so many people in here, I need you to get here. Babe, that doesn't matter, I just need you to get here. Babe, that can wait, I just need you to get here. When I asked what Carter's last name was, we were trying to get basic information. He said, then to mom on the phone, babe, what is his last name?
And you had mentioned you'd seen Carter in the pediatrics. Okay.
Wait one damn minute. Wait one damn minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Mom, you mean to tell me that you got a mother babysitting your child and that man don't even know this child's full name? I'm sorry, somebody listen. Linda, Sally, Sarah, Judy, Joy, all of you mothers, listen here. Lady, Sonia, Nicole, Nay, Big Drip, Buttercup, listen. Don't y'all ever fucking ever have anybody watching your children, your grandchildren, and they don't even know the child's full name and birthday. Period. You understand me? I am not accusing y'all of being so neglectful. I'm just stating it for a fact. Don't you ever. How the hell you trust somebody with your child, but that person, man or woman, don't know that child's last name? How are you so intimate with the motherfucker who is not worthy of such information? He's worthy to be left alone in your home. He's worthy to crawl up in between your legs, but he ain't worthy to know your children's full name? Crazy, Smiley. Crazy work. Like, what in the hell is wrong with people? What the hell? Y'all see, this woman garnered that piece of information just by listening. He had to ask the mom, who, first of all, excuse the fuck out of me, was on motherfucking FaceTime. I'm sorry, not one time would somebody have to tell me that don't matter, get here. Oh man, listen, you ain't got to tell me but one damn time, and I'm getting up. I don't give a damn if I'm on the space station, okay? I'm out. Something wrong with my child, okay? I could be in the middle of open heart surgery. The standby gonna have to take the fuck over because something is wrong with one of my heartbeats. You understand me? I'm out. Like, seriously, I'm out. You understand, Nicole? Sprung over all the wrong shit. That's right, Smiley. Smiley said I'd hurt one of my girls if they did that. Man, listen. I'm going to hurt one of my sons if they do it. Like, you don't leave your child with your girlfriend and she don't know any kind of pertinent information in case of emergencies. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, but you'll make sure that the daycare got that emergency information. But you know why? Because the daycare is required to request certain information. But the nigga you crawling up on, he's not worthy of that information. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm so freaking serious. Y'all, I couldn't click these buttons quick enough to pause that. Don't y'all ever. And if you know of anybody that's doing it, make them aware of the fact too. Make sure that if he or she is worthy enough to be crawling in between your legs, they ought to be worthy enough to know you and your children's personal information. And if they are not, then I dare say, close your damn legs until they are. Period. I'll continue.
And you remember Mom? Yes. She was pregnant?
Mom and Dad, different times.
And that would be biological then, right?
Yes.
Okay, not the man who brought him in that day.
Correct. I had never seen the man brought in that morning.
Right, thank you. Now, this is pediatrics place. Do you keep medical records?
We did.
And are you familiar with how medical records are kept? You write notes yourself?
I did.
And you do that because you are a nurse practitioner?
That's correct.
So when you see patients, tell me that process.
Like in our office?
Yes.
Yes. So patients come in, I see them completely, document as I'm in the room, document when they leave. I fully document like a HPI, which is a history of present illness of what's stated from the parents or caregiver that's going on. Document my full exam, full treatment, diagnosis, any follow-up recommendations.
And have you previously reviewed any medical records for Carter?
At that point, no. I had seen Carter, so I had created medical records, but I had not reviewed them necessarily.
Well,
Is that what you're asking me?
let me clarify, that's a little bit confusing, since then, have you reviewed medical records for Carter?
Only with you guys.
So, yeah.
Yes.
If I were to show you those medical records, would you be able to identify them?
Yes.
May I approach them?
You may.
Ms. Gaddy, if you would, tell me what this is.
This is our medical record. This is what every kid gets when they come into our office.
For the record, Your Honor, I'm showing Ms. Gaddy what's been marked as State's Exhibit 1. And are these medical records correct?
That's correct.
And are they regularly kept in the course of business?
Yes.
And you review those medical records?
Yes.
Are those medical records for Carter?
Yes.
Carter Ambrose? And are they a clear and accurate representation of those medical records?
Yes.
Have they been changed or altered in any way?
No.
Your Honor, at this time, the state will tender into evidence State's Exhibit 1 medical records for Carter Ambrose.
They're admitted.
All right, Ms. Gaddy, if you would take a look at those. Before this date, the date of November 17th of 2020, he's been brought into the office. Right.
Yes.
What are some of the things that he had been previously seen for?
Cough, runny nose, low grade fever. This one looks like he had been sick and just needed to kind of be cleared to go back to the sitter. Swollen mouth. Looked like he was eating something maybe that caused an allergic reaction or swelling. Ear infection.
Make sure you're speaking up for me.
Okay, sorry. Cough, breathing heavy, runny nose. That was a well child check on that one. Diarrhea and cough. We had some chest x-ray results that Mom was called back about. Cough, runny nose. These are just like inhaler refills for his inhalers. Hand, foot, and mouth, cough, the history of asthma. Well-child check. Rash. Refills. Runny nose and breathing issues. Recheck ears, bump on his left butt cheek. Cough. Ear recheck. Cough. Cough and blowing my ears. Cough and sneezing. Bud lights. Cough, congestion, breathing hard. Runny nose and congestion. Well-child check. And fever and congestion. That's Gabby.
Give me y'all opinion on what y'all just heard. All those papers she just went through. Tell me what y'all thinking. While I wait for y'all's responses, what I'm thinking is this was a on-time mom. If her baby coughed, she took that baby to the doctor. The baby had a rash, she took that baby to the doctor. She took the baby to make sure that his ears was okay, because oftentimes breathing issues and coughing issues are indicative of ear, nose, and throat situations, issues. A lot of times asthma can be perceived or wrongly diagnosed. It could just be allergies. However, this baby was diagnosed with asthma. And it sounds to me like this mama, listen, a cough, we going to the doctor. Breathing hard, we going to the doctor. A bump on the booty, we going to the doctor. That's what this lady just said. That's what this lady just said. Y'all got to remember, this baby was only 2 years old and 10 months. Only 2 years old and 10 months. To where this nurse practitioner remembered baby Carter. So far, mama seemed like she's on her business, because when you have an infant child with asthma, oh man, it can be something really heartbreaking, because they struggle to breathe until their, body matures. So far, I don't see no issues.
So these would be, say, breathing problems, stuff that you would see for a small child. That's right. Nothing further at this time, Judge.
Mr. Group, she's with you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Ms. Gaddy. Are you still working for these people?
I am.
And how long have you been there?
10 years. Well, April will be 10 years.
April of next year?
That's right, so 9.
Okay. And all those documents that you looked through, as far as State's Exhibit 1, did you help in the course of your employee help generate all of that?
Not all, but some of the visits where I saw Carter,
Okay.
but not all.
Would there be some times that only you would see Carter, or you and one of the doctors?
Most of the time it would be that I would see Carter unless if it were my visit, I would see him unless I felt the need to pull the doctor in on something.
Okay, all right. So how many doctors currently work there?
There are 4 doctors and 3 nurse practitioners.
Okay, tell me who the in November of 2020, who were the doctors there?
Okay, Dr. Robert Ford, Dr. Jessica Ford, Dr. Jill Waters.
All right.
The 4th one has been added since then.
And the documents that you have in this packet of papers reflects visits that Ms. Davis had with the child, with either you or either one of the 4 doctors or with Dr. Waters, is that right?
Or the other nurse practitioners in the office.
All right, or the practice, okay.
Yes.
Now, do you know when this child was born?
I don't, I mean, I can look at the date of birth on here, but
January the 14th of 2018, does that sound about right?
Mhm.
All right, and at the time that the child was born, was your facility used as primary care for this child?
that's right.
Pardon?
When he was born.
Right.
I'm not sure when he started seeing us, when his first well visit was.
All right. Then you were aware, are you not, that he was hospitalized less than a week into his life because he was having breathing problems, is that right?
Yeah, I'm not aware of that, no.
Okay. Do you know if Dr. Waters was involved in that?
Can't attest to that.
Okay. But nonetheless, there's plenty of evidence in there that this child had an asthma problem, is that right?
That's right.
And a lot of other problems too, is that right?
I mean, we saw him most often for asthma, like cough congestion and cold
Right.
symptoms.
Right.
I wasn't aware of any other medical problems,
Okay. And you don't know of any other medical problems, do you?
not that I'm aware of.
Were you aware that during the majority of this time that Carter was a patient at your place, that Ms. Davis lived with the child right down the road?
Mhm.
Does that mean anything to you? If someone moves right next to where your doctor's office is at?
Objection, speculation.
Objection sustained.
Let's talk about that. And Ms. Gaddy, on the date that, November the 17th of 2020, were you there when the child was brought in?
I was.
And where were you located at physically?
When he walked through the front door, I was in the office in the back of our office.
All right, and were you called upon to go check on the child?
When the nurse hollered for help, yes, I got it.
Okay, and who was it that hollered for him?
Casey Cochran.
And where was the child taken to?
Exam room 4.
And you went in there with whom?
Amy Wood, another nurse practitioner.
And is that when Dr. Robert Ford went in?
No, sir. Amy Wood went ahead and went into the room, and Casey looked at us and said he's unresponsive. I need the doctor. So that's when I went and got the doctors and left the room.
All right. And at some point in time, who was it that called 911? Or do you know?
I want to say there were maybe 2 people that called, but I'm not sure exactly who it was.
And at some point in time, did EMS eventually show up?
Yes.
Do you know how long from the time that EMS was there, was it from when the child first arrived at your place?
I'm not aware of that. I don't know the time frame.
Okay. Once the child was taken by EMS, did you have any other care for the child?
No.
Just a second. When you saw Carter that morning, did you notice anything alarming in his behavior or his condition?
He was unresponsive.
And I take it that you carried on a conversation with this man, Mr. Benton?
I did.
Did you?
I did.
And he told, you knew who Carter was, didn't you?
I did.
Okay. And as a result of that, I mean, your office could just pull up could go to his page stage or whatever, you would know what to look for, is that right?
Once we had appropriate identifying factors, we could. But, I mean, we see a lot of Carters.
Okay,
So like just him walking in the door, we would not be able to say this is his full name, date of birth, but we would have access to that, yes.
did you have an opportunity to talk to Ms. Davis on FaceTime?
No, I was sitting here, the man that brought Carter in was directly beside me, and she was on FaceTime and on his phone beside me. I never spoke to her on FaceTime.
And you were aware at that time she was about an hour away?
I wasn't sure where she was.
I mean, was it indicated to you that she was an hour away?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't know where she was?
I did not.
Okay. And did you have a chance, did she come to your place of business and talk to you afterwards?
She did not.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anything else for her?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Gabby, what are the symptoms of an asthma attack?
Cough, there's obvious signs, nasal flaring, retractions, cough, wheeze,
What about throwing up?
not of an asthma attack, no.
For bowel movements?
No.
Nothing for his should.
Mr. Cruz?
Nothing else, Your Honor.
Thanks, Ms. Gaddy. You may be excused. You're free to go or stay as you wish. You can leave the documents right there. Okay, we're gonna take a short break, and then we're gonna try to get a couple more witnesses in. Don't talk about the case. Don't let anybody talk about it with you. You can just leave your notepads in the chairs because we're coming right back in. Is
All right, let's see. Sonia said when we last broke, are we just a different generation? Sonia, I would like to think that we are, but unfortunately, no. No. This kind of open leg, closed information policy has been happening for generations. It has, unfortunately. Yep, it has. Buttercup says, right, I have a daughter with asthma. Hey, big brother Terry, what's going on? Hey. Thank you for that disclaimer. Good morning, Steptoe. Thank you for joining us, boo. Any questions, anybody? Any statements? Any opinions thus far? Any opinions? Well, I got one. It just goes back to what we've already said, though. You are an hour away from your baby, and the man that's taking care of them can't give pertinent information. That's really sad. It's a good damn thing that he did take the baby to the doctor's office when there was an issue. However, why didn't he take that baby to the emergency room immediately? I'm not going to the doctor's office. I'm going to the emergency room. The doctor's office wound up sending the baby to the emergency room. So I'm going to go there first. And then whatever information the emergency room needs, they can request it. But at the emergency room, they're better capable of stabilizing your child. Anybody for that matter. They would stabilize the person, the patient, in this case, a 2-year-old and 10-month baby, while they gather pertinent information so that they can move forward. Don't take your baby to the doctor's office. Take your baby to the emergency room. You're running in screaming, help, help, help the baby. So why are you at the doctor's office? Why aren't you at the emergency room? I'm confused. I'm confused. Like, what the hell? Maybe because they were closer. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, he wasted time going to the doctor's office. But check this out, y'all. Maybe that goes to his frame of mind of concern that the other lady tried to say he didn't have. He was so concerned that he went to the nearest medical facility he could think of, which was the doctor's office. So he was concerned, even though that woman tried to say that he was not. So I hope her defense attorney picked up on this. Because if you're going to defend, I need you to defend. If she truly didn't do anything wrong, defend her vigorously. But we can continue. I guess they'll turn on the sound when they're ready to start. That's not me. That's got it muted. Just waiting for them, guys. Let me see if I can get to a place where there is sound.
Raise your right hand. You swear a firm testimony about giving me the true whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I did.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Megan Kelly,
Can you spell that for the court reporter?
MEGANGKELLEY.
How are you employed, Ms. Kelly?
I work for a hospice now,
Okay.
but I did work for primary care.
Okay, you used to work for Primary Pediatrics. When did you work for them?
2017.
November 17th. And what did you do for Primary Float Nurse?
I helped with,
That's either 2020. Do you recall that date?
Yeah.
What do you recall about that date?
we had a very bad case come in, pediatric case come in. A little boy, it was lifeless when he came in.
Okay. And what, do you remember what time it was?
It was in the morning
In
time.
the morning? Okay. So you said it was a very bad case. What were you doing that morning?
I was in my little cubby where I sit as a float nurse, and I was getting ready for the day. So I think it was right after we opened, and I was getting ready for the day, and I heard a lot of commotion and yelling, and one of our other nurses was coming into the supply room to grab code supplies.
Okay. And at some point, did you figure out kind of what was happening?
Yes, so
And what was that?
I went to help. There was basically a code in place. A pediatric came in, either did not have a heartbeat or lost a heartbeat on the table.
Okay, and you said code. What is code mean?
Like code blue, sorry.
Okay, what is code blue?
No, they're not breathing, they don't have a heartbeat.
Okay. And do you know who it was who was code blue?
At the time, I did not tell them to.
Did you see at all who?
Yes, it was, very small, pediatric, African-American boy, very pale, especially his feet and his hands, and just very lifeless.
Okay. So you heard yelling. Where did you see the child?
On the bed when I finally got to the room.
Okay. And do you recall which room that was?
It was on Dr. Ford's side, I believe room 4.
Okay. And what, did you go into the room?
Yes.
And what did you do when you went in the room?
I assessed the situation. I tried to ask the man who brought him in. At the time, I didn't know who he was, so I asked questions. I asked him some questions, who he was, what happened, and then I just started working on the child.
Okay. When you started working on the child, what did you do?
I tried to place an IV.
Okay. And were others in the room with you?
Yes.
Who all was in the room with you?
Dr. Robert Ford was in the room, Jessica Woods was in the room, she's RN, Danielle Gaddy was in the room. The boyfriend, we thought was the stepdad at the time, he was in the room,
Okay.
and then the
So you said that you tried to put an IV in him. What were other people doing?
CPR was in place, oxygen was being placed on, I know there was others outside calling 911. There was just a lot in commotion, and then trying to figure out what was going on with him.
Okay. And I mean, there was a lot of trying to figure out what was going on. So I mean, did you kind of figure out what was going on?
It was hard, it was from just bits and pieces of the story, but from what I gathered, he either had some breathing issues and was brought in, and I knew there was more to it than what was in our face.
Okay. So let me say this. Do you know who the man was who brought the child in?
At the time, no, but
Okay.
I believe he was the boyfriend of the mother.
Did you have any interactions with him while he was there with the child?
Yes, I tried to ask the child's last name. I believe he was on the phone with the mom, and he had to ask the last name and date of birth and all the information.
And so you overheard them conversing? Okay. Was anything else said?
She sounded like she was at work, and he was telling her not to worry about something and just get here. He just kept saying, don't worry about that, get here.
Did he say anything about the child's symptoms prior to bringing the child in?
That he was throwing up and just having some breathing problems and very lethargic.
Did he say, he just said the child was lethargic, he said the child was doing anything else?
I don't know.
Do you know how long y'all worked on the child?
Maybe 30, 45 minutes before EMS came.
Okay, before, so did somebody call 911?
Yes.
Okay, and so then EMS came?
Mhm.
Okay, and then what happened when EMS got there?
EMS came, assessed the scene, took him to their truck and took him to the hospital.
Okay, do you know where they took him?
Peach County, I believe.
Did you do anything after they took the child?
I just remember we all just kind of debriefed and tried to figure out what exactly just happened and did our statements while it was fresh in our brain.
And let me ask you, do you recall the man who brought the child in, if he said anything about the child losing consciousness?
I believe so when he came in because he said he had been sick for a couple of days and had been vomiting and having diarrhea. And so he was kind of lethargic and in and out of it.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Group, she's with you.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly, my name is Jeff Group, I'm a lawyer from Warner Robins. I have a few questions to ask of you on representing Ms. Davis in this matter. Is it your recollection that this child was presented at your office on November the 17th of 2020 at about 8:48 in the morning?
Yes, sir.
And I'm looking at, subsequently, you wrote a note or were asked to write down what your version of what happened was.
Mhm.
Okay. since then, and I think you've been to see the district attorney's office, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And I take it that you went over the statement that you wrote,
Yes, sir.
and, once again, at that particular point in time, you were asking, or you heard shouts for either a nurse practitioner or Dr. Ford, because you were on this hall, is that right?
I was in the vicinity. I wasn't technically on his hall.
All right, but nonetheless, you answered the call, and was the child already, on the bed in room number 4?
Yes.
Was the child, did the child have any clothes on?
I don't remember.
Okay. Did you look at the child, to see if the child had any bruises or?
I did look at his arms when I went to do his IV and his legs, because they were very cold and pale. But I didn't see any noticeably like, bruises or cuts or anything like that.
You didn't see any bruises on his arms or his legs?
His arms or his legs.
Did you by chance have an opportunity to look at his chest to see if he had any bruises or discoloration or disfigurement or anything on his?
I don't remember because they were doing CPR. There was so much
Sure.
going on. I was trying to focus on trying to get him fluids.
Likewise, you couldn't tell us if there were any marks or anything on his back. But there was nothing that caused you any concern as far as any bruises is concerned.
Yeah, that's right.
And I take it that they were trying to do, Dr. Ford, Robert Ford was doing chest compressions, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And that Dr. Jessica Ford was trying to, and Amy Wood were trying to put a mask on the child of some sort. Is it called an ambu mask?
For oxygen, yes, sir.
Oxygen. And that was not going very well, was it?
I don't think so.
Okay. Had you ever, did you come to know who this child was?
Yes,
Carter Ambrose, is that right?
yes.
Had you remember ever treating him before?
No, sir.
I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, do you know if he was a regular patient at your office?
From his records, yes, but I was not ever in his care.
Okay.
Not that I can recall.
At any point in time, did you have the occasion, we've seen several medical records of Carter. Have you had a chance to go over them? Now, let me ask you this, that there was some testimony about the child had thrown up or vomited some previously. You heard that from the man that brought the child in.
Yes, sir.
Did you see any evidence of that?
Don't recall, I don't think so. I think he had said he had bathed him before coming in.
Okay, but did you smell any vomit on it?
I don't remember.
For the most part, the child appeared to be clean.
He did.
Well, the child was unconscious, you say, the entire time that you saw him?
Yes, sir.
Or,
Yes, sir.
and was it your testimony that before EMS came to get the child, that was 30 to 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minute period of time, is that right?
About that, yes, sir.
And then EMS came, were you outside when the child was taken by EMS?
I was not.
You have no knowledge as to how long EMS, if you had the child outside before they took off?
No, sir.
Had no way of knowing. Did you ever get an IV in his arm?
I did.
You did? You had written in your statement that there was an attempt made to run fluids, but the IV blew. What does that mean?
Meaning once the fluid, so the needle was, it was in the vein, and And then once the fluids were going through, the vein wasn't strong enough to hold it, so it exploded basically.
It did what?
It like expands, it pops the vein basically,
You wrote down and was DC, what's that?
discontinued, so it's taken out.
Discontinued, okay. Just a second, Sean, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Anything else, council? Thank you, Ms. Kelly, you're free to go or stay as you wish. Call your next witness, please.
State calls Lisa James.
This way, Lieutenant.
You would raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm? You would state your name for this. How long have you been in RN?
16 years.
Have you always worked there?
Yeah.
As an RN?
Yes.
What did you do for each county ER as an RN?
I was the charge nurse for day shift.
Explain to me what a charge nurse is.
I'm responsible for all the patients in the emergency room as well as the nurses and anything emergent that comes in.
So you're a nurse, but also from management too?
Yes,
Thank you.
I was at that time.
Thank you for clarification. Right, I'm gonna turn your attention back to November of 2020. Did you work at each county ER then?
Yes.
And did you remember a small African American child being brought in at some point?
There was one brought in, yes, unresponsive, we thought.
Tell me what you remember from that.
EMS called in reports, which we could hear in the ER, and we respond back, and they said they were coming in with a approximate 2-year-old infant that was not breathing and had no pulse.
And did you observe the infant yourself?
Yes.
Tell me what you observed.
If it was not breathing and did not have a pulse, the baby was cold to the touch. His clothes were wet. We don't. I mean, he was just covered from head to toe in water.
And do you recall if any nurses, anyone actually worked on the child?
I do not recall if we actually worked the child or not because he was already deceased at that point, and there had been some time frame in between.
So essentially what you observed was an unresponsive lifeless child.
Yes.
Nothing further for this witness, Judge.
Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. James, good afternoon. Ms. James, my name is Jeff Grove. I'm a lawyer from Warner Robins, here representing Ms. Davis in this matter. You say this was on the morning of November the 17th, is that right?
I'm not sure of the time frame.
Okay, but it was in the morning shift, is that right?
Day shift.
This, about 9:30 in the morning, sound about right?
I honestly do not know the time, exact time.
Do you know if it either at the time of this incident or subsequent to the incident that you put together or prepared any sort of documents that you would be kept by the hospital as to what happened?
Yes, absolutely. The hospital should have that documentation from that day.
And have you talked previously with the district attorney's office about what your testimony would be today?
No, sir.
You just,
I mean, he subpoenaed me and we talked today, yes.
oh, okay. Now, I take it that the child came and the hospital, your hospital is right there off of John L. Sullivan Road, is that right?
Yes.
In Byron, are you familiar?
It's off 49 connector.
Okay, near Hauser Mill Road, is
Yes.
that right?
Yes.
All right, and the child was transported by Houston EMS, is that correct?
I do believe so, yes,
I
sir.
believe so. Okay. And, were you there waiting for the ambulance to get there, or?
Yes, sir.
When the child was brought in, was the child wearing any clothes?
The clothes that he did have on, were wet and soaked with what we assumed was
Okay.
water.
What was it? Did he have pants on or just?
I do not recall if they were pants or shorts.
Okay, but you recall that he was just wet?
Yes, sir.
You don't know if he just had a diaper on or anything?
No, it wasn't just a diaper. It was
Did
just
you notice
shorts.
any blood?
I did not know, sir.
Did you have an opportunity to see the child's arms and legs?
No, sir.
You didn't?
I don't understand what
I
you're.
mean, did you look at the child or examine the child yourself?
Yes, as well as the doctor.
All right, but but you made an observation, did you not, as to the condition of the child?
Yes.
Did the child have any bruises on him?
I did not know any bruises on the child.
And did you notice any blood coming from the child, whether it be from anywhere, from the nose, ears, eyes, anywhere?
I honestly do not recall.
Do you recall as well or not you were required yourself to do any tests or examinations of the child? You yourself?
Not me, myself, the doctor would.
Would that have been Dr. Becker?
Yeah, he was on staff that day.
Okay. I mean, do you recall as to which doctor?
It was, no, sir, I don't. It was some years ago.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, was the emergency room busy that morning, do you recall?
Emergency room can be busy, all times,
Sure.
any time.
But
But I'm not sure
Okay. You still
of how
recall?
busy we were or were not.
Okay. And do you know as to whether or not there was anyone of the child's family that was with him at that time?
None of the child's family were with him at that time.
Okay, did any of the child's family arrive after the child was pronounced deceased?
I cannot tell you, I'm not sure. The officers, that came with or followed the ambulance as well as our officers on scene, they keep us from all that.
I got you. And were you there when the child was pronounced deceased?
Yes,
Is your recollection was it was 9:38 in the morning?
if that's what was documented, yes, sir.
Okay, and you recall that or you just agree?
As I said, it's been 6 years.
Sure.
I just go on my documentation from those events.
Okay, and once you received a subpoena to testify, were you asked to, or did you on your own go back over whatever notes or anything that you wrote down for that?
No, sir. Everything would have been kept within the hospital itself. I cannot access those records on my own.
Just that. That's all I have. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You can step down with James. Thank you, you're free to go or stay as you wish. Let me see council. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna stop here today. We're gonna start at 8:45 in the morning, okay? So I'm gonna ask you to be here a few minutes before then.
Let's talk. So we can wrap it up for today as well. Lady, get out of my head. Okay. First of all, lady, what does she recall? What does she recall? How are you a charged nurse, charged to be responsible of all the goings-ons with the patients as well as the nurses. How? Do we expect them to be super people? No, we don't. However, you mean to tell me, but after five years and some odd months, you receive excuse me, y'all, I have the hiccups. You receive a subpoena to come in your capacity as a charge nurse and recall what happened that day. It's all of the events from the time the patient, excuse me again, guys, I have the hiccups. From the time the patient entered into the emergency facility, from the time that patient comes in, you are now in charge of yet another patient. So when you receive that subpoena, you mean to tell me that you could not say to the DA, is there any way that you can get me the paperwork from that day so that I can familiarize myself with pertinent details that I'm sure both sides are gonna question me on? You couldn't do that? Okay, fine, maybe not. However, there is one thing that I need to know. How is it that, lady, you can tell me that you watched your father pull up, get out of his vehicle, and come into your house, but you don't remember if he was driving a truck or a car? I'm sorry, what? She said his clothes were wet. They were soaked with what we believed was water. Yes, y'all, I'm sitting over here writing stuff down. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. It's called content creator. Y'all see how that works? Yeah. So I'm sitting here writing it down because I want to be on point. She says his clothes were wet, soaked with what we believed was water. The defense attorney asked, did he have on a diaper or not? She said, no, he had on a diaper. Was he only in a diaper? No, he was not only in a diaper. But I don't recall if they were pants or shorts. I'm sorry, he's not asking the color. But you in your mind's eye are thinking back to that day. You're recalling that his clothes were wet, but you can't remember what the clothes were. I got a problem with that. I don't understand how you can disassociate one detail from the other. Are y'all following me? You may not agree. I'm just asking, do y'all follow what I'm saying? How is it that you can remember that this child had on clothes that were soaked wet with what you believe was water, but you can't remember while you're in your mind's eye looking at this child, you can't remember if he had on shorts or pants? Didn't you have to touch that child? Didn't you have to unclothe that child to prepare that child for y'all's examination? You don't remember if you had to pull down shorts when you took that diaper off to examine this child, because that's what they had to do. They had to bring that child to a naked state, a total unclothed state, in order to examine said child. How is it that you pulling off his pants, but you don't know if you're pulling off shorts or pants? But you do remember his clothes were soaked wet with what you believe was water. I got a problem with that, and I'm going to leave these notes right here, and hopefully, we'll get some clarification as to why she don't remember such a thing. My other issue was why the boyfriend just so conveniently, and yes, I'm using the word conveniently, took that child to the doctor's office just so conveniently right after they opened up. You mean to tell me, mama, that before you left for work that morning, you didn't check on your child? Huh? You didn't go give your baby a look-see, a loving, adoring look at your baby? Because y'all know while our babies are asleep, that's when they are the most precious to us. When our babies are asleep, oh man, we adore them. Okay. Like, look at him, so cute. I love you. Mommy, see you later. That baby didn't get none of that, woman. That baby didn't get none of that, mommy. That baby did not get a kiss, a touch, a look-see right quick before you left for work. Because I want to know how in the entire hell does all of this transpire so conveniently after you've left for work? You're an hour away. They said that this baby's limbs, his hands and his feet, were white. He was pale in color. He was cold to the touch. This baby had no pulse and was not breathing. Those are the details. You mean to tell me that baby became pale in color, white to the view, and cold after you left for work? I'm not hearing that shit. I'm not hearing that, Mom. Not hearing it. Buttercup said right. Make it make sense. Buttercup said right. How you can't remember what the child had on? Exactly, lady. Come on, Sonya. Seriously. How you leave for work and don't go check on your child? Because, see, this is why she's sitting at that table. Because how did this happen after you left for work? How did this happen after you left for work? And you're an hour away. What happened to that child? I'm assuming there's going to be 2 trials, guys. And we've just started with this one. Just got started. Do you guys want to come back 8 o'clock tonight? Or do y'all want to pick up tomorrow? Let me know. Choice is yours. Let me know. This evening? Lady said yes, tonight. Shit. Because we are just a few days behind them. So, okay, if we come back tonight, we can get on the next day, which I believe would have been yesterday. I'm not sure if it was Friday or yesterday. Okay. So today we covered opening statements and the first load of witnesses, which were the nurses at the doctor's office and the charge nurse now at the emergency room. That's what we've covered today. I will say to you guys, I'll try to make it. Sonia says, yes, baby. Or just, I like for you to be here, but catch the replay if you need to, And then if you have any questions, Sonia, put them in the comments if you're catching the replay tomorrow, or keep them in mind or write them down, and you can always ask later. Sonia says, I put those children down for bed at 7:30. Okay, well, 8 o'clock would be good then, boo. if you can. If not, I understand. We all do. We all have lives. And that brings me to the apology that I owe you guys for not being available last night. It was a lot going on last night. It was a lot. It was a lot going on with other content creators that we support and that sort of thing. And I'm not going to get into the details. If you know, you know. And so there was a lot of reaction videos and lives going on last night that I believed would have gotten in the way of us having, enough people in here to even be worth the time. You know what I'm saying? While I will go live on a regular let's kick it type of live with 2 people in here with me, we can kick it. 3 people, that's a conversation. Okay. But to view this trial, I wanted, you know what I mean? I wanted a substantial amount of people in here. And last night it was a whole lot going on, and people had scheduled their lives or went live right at 8 o'clock. You know what I mean? Giving no consideration to my announcement that I would be going live at 8. And that's their prerogative. That's their channel. They can do what they want to do. But I was considerate of that. And so I rescheduled it for this morning. Normally, content creator courtesies are afforded to everyone. Apparently, I'm not a part of that list. And that's fine. That's fine. So that's why I scheduled it for this morning. Okay, guys? And so again, I apologize. However, we had a good live today. We enjoyed one another. And I hope to see you guys here this evening at 8 o'clock. If something should come up where a whole lot of people are live at 8 o'clock, Sean B. gonna be one of them. Since the courtesy is not afforded to me, I will not put forth that courtesy either anymore. Because, see, I'm going to start treating people the way they treat me. Like it or not. Y'all have a good day. Peace.
Yeah. Sean B. on YouTube. Ooh, yeah. Late night on the screen, got the city lights low. Sean B bringing truth to the stories below. From New York with grace and a mind so wise, she can see through the dark, she can read through the lines. Every clue, every name, every twist, every turn, she be digging down deep till the realness burns. For the ones left behind, for the pain unseen, she be lifting those voices in between the scenes. So like, share, subscribe, let the real ones roll. Sean B on the case, going straight for the soul. On YouTube she shines, bringing truth to the few. When the world stays quiet, she comes breaking through. Like, share, subscribe, let the story breathe. Sean B got the light that the people need. Ooh, Sean B, true crime, baby. Tune in and watch the truth speak.